All right. It is 6 o'clock, and we will call the meeting to order. We will start out, however, with the pledge, with our pledges and reflections. So, please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Then we'll have a brief reflection. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come before your throne this evening, just asking you to be with us tonight, Father, asking you to grant us the wisdom to make the decisions that will benefit this hospital and the people in this county, and grant us the courage to make those decisions, Father. We just pray that you would guide, guard, and direct us as we do this hospital's business. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. Amen. Be seated, please. All right, we will roll call of the board. Marcelo Villegas. Here. Grace Paris. Absent. Jeff Jordan. Here. Allison Lambert.
Present.
Larry Richardson. Here. Joshua Warner. Absent. Tom Miller. Present. Kate Agan.
Present.
Okay. We have quorum. Next up is the approval of the June 20th, 2019 board meeting minutes. You will take a look at those briefly.
I'll make a motion that we approve the June 20th, 2019 minutes as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Jeff Jordan, a second by Allison Lambert, to approve the June 20th, 2019 board minutes. All in favor? Motion carries.
Abstain.
Kay and Marcella abstain. Okay. All right. Next up is citizen input. We do not have any citizen input. No one signed up. No one's here. Okay. All right. Then we'll move on to review, consider, and take action regarding any of the following issues. Number one is the June summary and financial analysis. Now, believe everyone who is here and present, was present during the Finance Committee meeting. Do we need to go over anything? Or can we ask for a recommendation from the Finance Committee Chair?
That's fine.
Okay.
Very good. Then the Finance Committee makes a recommendation to approve and accept the June summary and financial analysis as presented.
And do you make that motion?
I make the motion.
I'll second.
The motion by Marcelo Villegas, second by Larry Richardson, to approve the June summary financial analysis. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Next up is B. That was also covered during finance, and there was no action.
Basically, yeah, we're just not ready to recommend. We tried to get prepared for tonight. This week we cut ourselves a little short between when the bids were due until tonight, so we will either have a call meeting or have the August meeting. Recommend to move forward with the medical office renovation. We'll lose a couple weeks. We don't think that'll hurt us. We'll figure out how to make that up.
No action needed on that. We'll move to number 7, annual quarterly board reports. And start out with A, patient experience report, Olivia and Bob.
So I just wanted to keep you up to date. I'll start with the hospital system. Inpatient rate for the quarter ending June 30th. Our rate, the hospital, we're in the 93rd percentile category and the top box of 84.4. So 84% of our patients rate us in that, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate us a 10. The recommend is up there too still, 84 percentile ranking, so for our inpatient status, and top box score of 81.8, outstanding scores. And that's over 3,500 hospitals in the nation that we're rated against. ED, just to put it in perspective, we have that process improvement committee. This is just top box score because we don't actually have percentile ranking data, but we're at a 52.5. We're still working on that with our doctors, our physicians. We have a process improvement committee, and I still want to see that ever improving. But this should be slow ticks as they move.
What's the target?
My own target right now, when I look at others, it should be at around the 60 to 70%. So I want to fix those areas we know, and we're actually focusing in because you have housekeeping, you have imaging, you have laboratory services, everybody who touches EDs, not just the nurses, it's not just the doctors. We're looking at each and every group and what we need to do to improve those scores. So, surgical services, there's your one 60 to 70% in the top box rating for outpatient services, and so that one's doing very well. I know that everyone, we talked about Biveris, I think it was about a year and a half ago that we went to Biveris originally, and all of our supervisors and directors have access from the clinic systems to every department in the hospital. They can actually see the responses from the patients if they say a comment, and they can see their scores real time, so as they update. Clinic system overview. Okay. So we measure everything. Biveris, we talked about that, is we do the clinic system overall. We can divide it up to family practice, specialty clinics, and our urgent care, and we can actually delve into the physician in their area specifically, but I'm giving you a top view, if you will. So clinic system overall, you have it by quarter. And so the clinic system overall, 63.3, 62.5, and 68.6 right now. And all of the directors, supervisors have access to that and looking at improvements too as well. Family practice as a whole, 60.6, 61.9, and 62.6. We're tracking that data, and we should see ticks as we improve those areas. Family practice, specialty services, that first quarter was outstanding. I think it was just one target, one imprint does not make a trend. So that was a great day, and I think that was Dr. Profeno, would you like 100% that? I'm on top box.
I've actually never seen a slide where
There you go. There you go.
I'm just saying.
Yes,
Not bragging if you do.
Just say.
just saying. So we had quite a bit of, we had an 81.1, 64.3 we dropped at, and then there was a focus group to look at those scores, and they're already on the trend up of 70.4. Urgent care, that was one we looked at too. Emily, the supervisor, we noticed that our scores weren't high in the urgent care, and she actually looked at those, saw areas that she needed to improve on, and then again, it's 56, 57, 73.8, outstanding. That's process improvement, and that's what we're working towards.
When we look at ratings in the funding system, what are the typical negatives? Wait time?
In certain areas, it's wait time. No, you know better than I do. I know what I look at, so.
Right, it's wait time and mostly communication. I think the wait time would be tolerated if we talk to patients more about it. It's going to be this long, this is how many people are ahead of you, or, you know, just talking to the patient, and that is what needs to improve, is that the actual communication back to the patient. It would, I think it would help tolerate the wait time a little bit more if they knew what was going on and how long it's going to be.
But normally they're busy,
Yeah.
which is why there's wait time.
Right.
And they can't get back there to.
Right. And so what we're doing is we're trying to utilize our system a little more, because you could kind of change statuses to see where a patient is at and what's going on without having to go pull the doctor out, go talk to the back of the staff. So if we can utilize our system a little bit more to communicate, then we can better communicate when the patient's in front of us.
What's our scores on time? You know, usually you get, did the doctor spend enough time with me? Do we ask that kind of thing? Or?
There's something similar to that,
I
but
think it was, did you get all your questions answered? I think that's the question.
did your physician talk to you in a knowledgeable way? There's certain things that.
Right, just some things like if the, you know, if the doctor spends a lot of time with you, then that probably is why there's more wait time. So, or if the doctor just runs you in and out there like, you know.
So we
Running
don't
cattle
just
through,
we don't
then
keep
it's
this
less wait
knowledge
time.
up here in administration. That goes down to the supervisor. The supervisors are supposed to share it on their monthly meetings with their staff and how we can improve, and with the physicians, and that's what's supposed to be occurring and should be happening. We're following up. We're making those slow strides. I can tell. I want to brag on it. Olivia and her team, they're actually creating a system that things can be monitored. So we're building great quality systems. They will be able to track when a patient checks in and when they get to the first room, when they get their vitals done. And they'll know when they get to the physician, and then we check in processes, and we'll know where there's errors and there's problems that we can improve on. We're really getting into a system where we can manage quality. And so that's our focus. You've seen that in our awards. So we're bringing that, Olivia and her team, we're bringing the, when we had the hospital award, we've had the home health award. They're applying now for the award with TMF for the clinic system. So it's some of those things and those measures they have to be looking at and working towards. So I'm very proud of the team working towards that.
Is there a process for notification back to the family that's still sitting in the waiting room outside for the ED? And the only reason
We
I
don't
say-
have it
Yeah.
now. I'm not saying, I don't know if there's
Yeah.
one.
I had an employee that came in by ambulance. His wife came in by car and was set for over an hour. And I just asked the questions. You know,
Oh, it's a good
how was
question.
your experience there? And she said the not knowing, I didn't know what. I went to the desk a couple of times, and she said, we'll bring you in as soon as we can. And
I should have stuck around.
No. And that was not necessarily a bad thing, just a little bit of communication back. Maybe would have said, you know, the doctor's with him now, or
Yes.
he has seen the doctor, we're waiting on some tests or whatever.
Well, that's actually good feedback, 'cause that's what we are supposed to be doing.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily negative that they were
Yeah.
upset about anything, it was just over an hour wait time. I know I sat there with her for an hour, and then I had to leave, but.
All right. No, point taken. Rounding our patients in the lobby is something that should be occurring. Okay. So, I'm gonna let you have patient service and
Formerly known as Coulson.
I did that for you.
Okay, so I'm going to present the KPIs for Patient Service Center. So we have May and June here, and this column shows the average calls per day. So we're averaging about 300 calls for family practice only in the call center. And that was in May, and in June we were averaging about 333. And then this is how how much time it's taking us to answer the call. So we're answering calls within 9 seconds, these are seconds here. And in June, we're answering within 11 seconds. So these are numbers right out of Cisco. And then the service levels for family practice, we're at 98% in both months. We're doing really well. On the specialty side, so again, what we started about 2 months ago is if the patients call, let's say Dr. Crosby's office or Dr. Faulkner's office, and that staff doesn't get to the phone, those calls are rolling over, so it's a spillover into patient services center now, so that they can still talk to somebody and not have to either call back or leave a voicemail like we used to do in the past, and then we would probably not get to the voicemail to the end of the day. So we had an additional 123 calls in May and 119 calls in June that went to the call center from our specialty clinics, and it took us a little more time, 13 seconds and 11 seconds to answer those calls.
Does that time count from when it's ringing at the
No.
at the office, or it's?
No, it starts the clock when it goes to the call center. Yeah. So that doesn't count however long they were waiting for the specialist. Good question. Our service level for specialty is in the low 80s, and what we're finding is that when patients get transferred over to the call center, it'll ring, they'll pull the tree, and then they hang up. So there's a lot of calls that are being abandoned, about 20%, because the patients still aren't used to it transferring anywhere. So once they see that I went outside of Dr. Krause's area or the specialty that they're calling, they're hanging up. So what we're trying to do is, at the end of the day, we want to run a report of those abandoned calls and call them back to see if we can still help them and still get a hold of them.
How do they see that the call is being moved?
So
Does
what
it continue to
they'll
ring?
do? No, so what it'll do is it'll go to the call center, and we're gonna look at our tree again, but it'll go back to the call center, and then the tree starts, press 1 for this, press 2 for that, press
I got
3.
you, okay.
So they
we hear
know
that.
that I got transferred elsewhere.
I
But-
got you.
Yeah. So we are trying to see if we can roll over those calls to that, so let's say specialty is the third option, see if it can roll straight to the call center, to where they just get in our queue versus having to go through that tree again, but we haven't really figured how to do that, but we're looking into it. But our best effort right now is to run the abandoned call report and start calling those patients back.
What is the benefit of those offices taking their calls directly? I mean, why aren't they just using the call center?
Well, okay, so there's 2 things. Some of the specialists prefer that they have a very specific schedule. It's different from a family practice because of surgery. And so there could be times where all of a sudden they can't be in because they have 2 surgeries that they have to do. And most of these patients are either calling for an appointment or they're calling for a follow-up on a procedure they had, some sort of message. So the physicians currently feel that their staff still needs to handle those calls as best as their ability. They're having a little trouble letting some of that go because of the complex schedules that they run. But what we're doing is we're trying to train the call center as much as possible to be able to handle these calls. So maybe once the specialists feel a little more comfortable with that staff, learning their schedules, learning their routines, talking to their staff on a daily basis, they'll allow us to take a little more calls.
Just seems like that might be better for their in-office staff to be able to have the time to pay attention to the people that are there
Right.
and add value to that as opposed to having to deal with the phone.
Absolutely,
That's the ultimate goal.
that's the goal and the message we're trying to give.
And she's taking
Not
notice
just
of,
trying to change the mindset.
Right. So
and the specialty clinics, if I can, they weren't even, they were missing 40% of their calls in some of the reports I saw. So this is grabbing those calls that they were missing to begin with, and getting them into the schedule, getting our staff in the call center, the patient care center,
Please.
that they are going to practice scheduling and making sure things are right. And as they get trained enough, then the physicians will have confidence and will be able to take it over.
Yes. But that's why we took a baby step and said, okay, well, at least give us what you're not answering. And then we'll go from there. Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Was that it?
That was it? That's what you said. Unless I missed one.
That's it.
All
Let me
right.
make sure.
Thank you very much. Next up, number 8 is marketing updates. Savannah?
I'll give you I'll do it for you. Okay.
Okay, so, Dr. Henley and his team got a deficiency-free, rural health clinic survey, right, did I say that right? And it's, he got the exemplary provider award. So we took a picture of the team and put it on social media, our website, and just other publications, Instagram, now we have an Instagram, and Twitter. So we just wanted to show the community that Dr. Henley is a good primary care doctor that they should probably come see. And then another initiative we did was our tobacco-free campus. As of July 1st, we did that also on social media, the newspaper, all our other social medias. Some people response were, oh, I thought y'all were tobacco-free already. So people were surprised to hear that. We also put out that the mammogram team got a perfect score on their survey as well recently. So we did that on everything social media as well. And not only that, but they are ACR certified, which in the past hasn't been advertised much at all. So when we presented that they got deficiency free on their survey, we also said, hey, they are ACR certified. We got good response with that. The mammogram team is very awesome. And then on 4th of July, we had a prayer service outside with our chaplain, Birdie. We had patients come out with us. It was really nice. And then we served pie and ice cream, and we did flags all along the area here. And in the newspaper, Caitlin's going to pass it around if y'all are interested in reading. There was a letter to the editor, a very nice letter from a patient, just complimenting Dr. Hassan and Dr. Moorhead on how they basically saved his life and wanted to share that with the county. So we just put it up in a frame and gave it to them so they can hang it in their lobby so other patients can see. We just want to put a lot of positive out there in the community to just shed a different light on what Colony's about. Some advertisements we had in Wilson County were 4th of July for the Lavernia and here in Wilson County. This is our new advertisement for our awards. It'll be put in a full page paper in Wilson County News. They have like half off ads right now. And we'll be also doing other things with this type of advertisements as well, but we just wanted to shed light on all our awards we've been getting, and we put our new doctors. Dr. Holloway is our podiatrist, and then we took an updated photo of Dr. Stevens. We went and added our ER doctor in there, so we just needed a little update. So we're excited about getting this out. So y'all should see this everywhere. Wilson County has a business directory, and we're on the back page, and this is what's going to be on that back page of the directory. Consolata update, Dominion Diamonds is coming up, and our clay shoot. If you know anybody we should reach out to for tickets or sponsors, please let me know so we can reach out to any businesses, friends, or if y'all are interested in a table, please let me know. The next slides has some stats, an update just for y'all. We have about 51 tables so far, 7 just individual tickets sold, and about 53 auction items. Another ad you'll be seeing in about August, in another month or so, is the Patient Service Center ad, which is formerly known as the call center. So I should have put that ad up here, but we're just tweaking that one. It's not finalized yet. But any questions? Oh, and another little update is Bob and I are just on the last tidbits of getting that marketing program. We're just looking over prices and comparing apples to apples, but basically what these programs do is any type of marketing efforts, we put everything in this program and it, the software system, and it like spits out the ROI and just all this great data for us to measure our marketing efforts. So we're just looking, just maybe in the next couple of weeks or two, have a company for that.
This is the best advertisement we could have done.
Exactly.
We get some of those, that would be
The
great.
patient testimonials are just invaluable.
Oh, yeah. So, actually, maybe 2-3 months ago, we had reached out to this patient to come in to our media room and do a testimonial, and he was just starting some chemo, and he just said, I'm really weak, please call me later, and then we saw this, so we're gonna reach back out to him now that he's feeling a little better.
That's great. Thank you.
They framed it too, so the doctors could hang it in there.
Yeah.
I like that.
So now we move to number 9, CEO report. Mr. Gillespie.
Carl and I had a bet, and they told me to keep it short, so it's probably one of my shorter ones.
We'll see. Not over yet.
I took the coat off, okay? I'm ready to get it over
Getting
with.
comfortable.
Well, we can ask a lot of questions, make it longer. Split the proceeds.
I always bet the over. Yes, ma'am.
You know I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Physicians, just want to give you an update where we're at and where we're headed. The pediatrician search, I talked to you a little bit about it. Medicus is really they're really put out a great search effort, and we've already had some really great candidates come back. And next Friday, we'll be having one of them come in that we're very excited about, and I told you a little bit about that one. So hopefully a report coming soon. I don't know if I told some of y'all, but a few of us here in the hospital have gotten some key players in. We're going to take a trip out to Bay City, Matagorda Regional Hospital. We're looking for other service lines that we can do. We have a licensed 44-bed hospital. We have several rooms. We average about 10 to 12 patients. What else can we do? And Matagorda has some thoughts of what they did for their area. So I'm going to go over there and take some of our staff, and we're going to just make a day trip of it tomorrow and confer with their CEO and the staff and see what we can come up with. So, community needs assessment, I told you I made that promise I would even follow up with them. I think I followed up with 3 or 4 groups?
3 groups.
3 groups, so this will be the 4th group, and then I have one more
And
after
you have
that.
one more.
Okay. So that'll happen next Wednesday. We're also having next week family practice physician meeting. We're looking at what we can do for quality and family practice, what barriers can we break down, how can we work together. We've had one initial meeting, we're going to have another, we're going to do this on a quarterly basis. What can we do to make things better for you and the patients? Full medical staff, August 1st, we're still on, so lose. So we're having everybody there for their CMEs and just get together and talk and confide in one another and how we can utilize each other too. Podiatrist, Travis Holloway, September 9th, he came today, he's all excited, he got his picture taken with the white coat, he's already got his family here, moved in, so we're excited with that, and he's coming August 15th once again, so we get him all squared away within our systems and already schedule patients, and we're going to have marketing efforts, and just kind of line everything up so he's ready to go.
Where's he going to practice?
We're going to have him in HBO and wound care at first, and probably this Thursday it'll either be his marketing day, or we might head out to Livernia so that he's looking for patients and looking for services. So maybe in Livernia on Thursday, my thoughts, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday he's available here. And we're going to work with Dr. Profena because we have several doctors practicing out of HBO and wound care at various times. So we'll work it out. EMS, I taught you all a little bit about EMS. Before, when we transferred to another hospital, we'd used San Antonio service. And we've had ESDs come up to us or Floresville and say, hey, can we do your transfers? And finally somebody said, hey, here's a plan. We're going to get another vehicle, we're going to get all the equipment, we're going to have the staff, and we'll take care of it for you. So for the month of June, they did we've been working with ESD3. They've come and handled all those transfers. And it's the ultimate goal is to take care of our patients and get them where they need to go as quickly as possible. The national average for the United States for transfers is around, from response from EMS, is around 26 minutes. We were waiting from San Antonio for an hour and a half to 2 hours. That was average. So ESD3 has come in and their average response time is 16 minutes. So that's outstanding, reduces our length of stay, takes care of our patients, and that's what it's about.
Those local people who work there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just
I've always talked.
while you're on the topic of EMS, just in case you didn't know, the building that was formerly Livonia Volunteer EMS has apparently been sold and all their equipment's been liquidated. We don't know who to, where, did they, where the funds went, anything, but.
Maybe ESD3 went down there and grabbed things and barred them.
But everything's gone, they're moving in like a lawnmower service there. I have asked the question, where did the funds go? But none of the board members are stepping up and answering that question.
Interesting. So I've committed to y'all about process improvement, and I've talked to y'all about that within our scheduling department. So our referral department, scheduling department, referrals went automated, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But the scheduling department, I've heard from community members, I've heard from you as board members, and they're down to 48 hours for scheduling an MRI, a CT, or ultrasound. Memos, before it was hit or miss when they would get scheduled because there were just so many. We're booked out to the first week of August in memos, if I remember correctly, and we have a huge list. They are booking now every 48 hours, getting people on the schedule, and it's outstanding. So, and that's a huge service. That's necessary. We need to do that, and that's meeting the quality metrics of taking care of your patients too, as well. Insurance verification process. You heard Carl talk about that a little bit. That's one area that I think is very important. When a patient comes in, they need to know what their copay is. They would need to know if they owe, and we had that less than automated. So in the past week, we've gotten it to where about 90% of that insurance verification is done, whereas before it was, I'll just say it's less than 20%. Okay, days I know it was at 10%. So y'all know I'm a big techie kind of guy, but this is making it to where our staff know what they're doing. They have confidence in what they're doing. Our patients have confidence in us, and so that's very important to me and us. Referral scheduling process, Libby, her team, and everyone, I can't say this enough, but it is becoming automated, and that's why you see the growth in home health and other services. So they went through and they actually have it to where they actually send, and our staff have access in ECW to see when they have a referral from a physician. And even though our home health doesn't have has their own separate system, they have access to ours. We're not limiting access. We're taking care of our patients now. So home health is fully automated, and that's why you see them. They're taking care of 75 to 80 patients, a month. Rehabilitation. That's why you've seen the growth in our rehabs. They have that access to that automation. Diagnostic imaging. That's where we've gotten into where it's electronic. It's sent. Everybody has all the package and it's ready to go, and we can schedule the patient. Outgoing referrals, Carl asked me not to do that, but outgoing referrals to other centers as a patient service is what we need to do, and that is automated too as well. And so the last one we're working on, I heard Dr. Faulkner one time, we had our own personal meeting. He said, nobody's been able to tell me how many people that I sent for surgery were able to go to surgery because the copay may be, the deductible may be too high. Maybe they felt better and just decided not to go or get scheduled. And so Olivia and I have actually, Olivia has actually set it up in trial with the son, Preston Moorhead, and Dr. Faulkner. And so now we have that automated to where all the information goes and is available for our staff to then schedule the surgery, and then we know if it was filled. So this is a great thing. It's what we do to grab everything we can and take care of our patients as we should. Central Campus, I'll throw Spectrum under the bus. I'm waiting on Spectrum and another physician clinic to release some information so that we can actually start moving people there. We're ready to go. So I'm hoping within the end of this month we should be ready to get over there. So please say, Brandon, man, come on, I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
We're calling Spectrum every day.
Okay.
And they're waiting to be.
I'll make a personal call on the way to Bay City tomorrow to that gentleman.
Just let me know.
My blood pressure's going up right now, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Just let me know.
Yes, if I don't get a good answer tomorrow, you might get a call from me tomorrow. I will have staff in the truck with me, so.
Well, it's been painted.
You won't be driving though, right?
Yeah, I think I'm driving. So that's my report. Does anybody have any questions for me at this
When
point?
you start the transfer, probably, how long is it gonna take to get everybody over there and set up and ready to go?
When I start the transfer,
Yeah,
we'll do it
once
over a weekend.
So it'll be just a couple of days.
Well, we're not doing a full mass move. We're doing
Now, you're
different
just doing
departments.
the call center?
We're gonna do the physicians first,
Yeah.
to get them over central, get that all squared away. Then we'll move over into that front old pharmacy area.
That's
Then
for the
we'll move
call
on, yeah.
center.
Well,
No.
it may be the call center, it may be business office or home health. It depends on what happens at South Campus. There's some contingencies in South Campus too. The main thing is, I want to get the downstairs cleared out. That's the main thing. And then I can work on all the others. I act like I'm doing great.
So you're staying, Dr. Putena, you're staying?
Yeah,
And then you'll just move office to office when they're working on it, or what?
well, they're not working on that one.
You're not working on that
A
side?
little bit in the back.
Just the back.
Storage room.
Yeah, they'll be like, we're just gonna continue to roll with double the amount of people, just in case.
We're gonna have some background music.
Circumvent that.
Just as long as the bathroom can work. we'll be
Drums.
fine.
Well, that ends my report. Anybody has any questions or comments?
Okay. Next up, we will move to executive session. Board of Directors, County Memorial Hospital, UVA County Memorial